Hello, everyone, and welcome to our information session today on Full Stack Developer Certificate for the Fall 2026 term. My name is Mushra Chaudhry, and I'm the Manager of Recruitment and Sales for the Cheng School. Now, before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge the land on which Toronto Metropolitan University is built upon. Toronto is in the Dish with One Spoon territory. The Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. I thank Indigenous people of Turtle Island for their efforts to protect the land, and I deeply regret the past injustices they have endured. As Toronto Metropolitan University seeks to move forward in partnership with Indigenous people, I pledge to foster an environment that is more inclusive and welcoming to Indigenous people from all communities. Now let's go over a few items so you know how to participate in today's session. Your microphone is muted throughout the event so as to not disturb other attendees or our presenters. For the hearing impaired, we have automated captioning available, which you can access by activating it in the toolbar at the bottom of your screen. You can submit your questions for today's speakers at any time by typing them into the question box in your control panel, and we'll collect them throughout the session and address them at the end of the presentation. Now, I'd like to introduce our guest speakers for today. We have Dr. Alex Furwarn, Academic Coordinator of the certificate, and Michal Mew, entrepreneur and developer and an instructor at the certificate. Now, before we invite our guests, I'd like to run a quick poll to get a temperature check of the room. So I'm going to launch the poll, and yeah, please take a couple of minutes to answer this poll. What motivated you to consider the certificate is question number one. And second is, what is your level of familiarity with the certificate program? And your options for the first question are career advancement, career change, and skill building for current role. And we have high, moderate, and low level of knowledge about the field. Thanks again for taking part in this. It really helps us provide some feedback to the team. And I'm going to go ahead and share the results. So career advancement, career change, and skill building are the choices for motivations for the certificate. And then we have most of our people with moderate and basic awareness, and one person with minimal or no prior knowledge, which is totally fine as well. All right, now I will invite our academic coordinator, Dr. Alex Furwarn, to share a certificate overview. He's also the professor of computer science at TMU and the Faculty of Science, Senator at Large, and co-chair the Joint Health and Safety Committee at Toronto Metropolitan University. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you, Mashur, and welcome everyone to Full Stack Developer. So the idea behind Full Stack Developer is to provide you with the tools you'll need to actually complete an application that's deployable on the web. That means more than just you may have been a system administrator in the past, or maybe have no experience in the past working on HTML pages or just standard web development, but you haven't been able to deploy things in the back end to assist users in accessing a database or doing things like e-commerce. That's what this certificate is about. So next slide, please, Michelle. So we're going to go through what the program consists of and where full stack is going. Very difficult to predict, but we know that artificial intelligence will have an impact on the skill sets required and also the ability of what you can do, because there's more resources available to you as a full stack developer with the use of AI. We will talk about some topics and the reasons why you may wish to take this certificate, and of course, how to enroll. Next slide. So we've got a pretty flexible way for you to learn the material. So some of this is don't take this verbatim. So yes, the program is fully online, and there are 4 courses that you do have to take. The length is nominally 8 months. People try and do this faster. They also take way longer. So that is a suggested time that you may wish to do, but life happens, and we're not an oppressive force forcing you to learn. So you may wish to skip and then take a course in another term. We're flexible with that. And that is the total cost you'll need to invest in actually taking the certificate. Next slide. Um, there has been a high demand for full stack developer. It actually the demand kind of grew based on more demands from people wanting more things out of web applications and applications in general. So if that's the case, then as demand grew and as enterprises grew and startups grew, of course, there's more demand for people who can actually do the back end coding and development of applications. So a lot of businesses, you'd be hard pressed to find a business that's not aware that they need to have some kind of presence on the internet. And as soon as they have that awareness, almost all of them decide that they need to do some form of e-commerce, selling things, or at least providing brochures, or doing all manner of interaction with customers. And if you're not going to buy packages yourself, meaning someone will come in and do it, they will hire employees to do that, or they will hire contractors to do that. And that's all you. So if you take this certificate, you'll be given the skills, learn the skills to participate in that workforce. Okay. And also, we have had people in the past with all manner of backgrounds. So people with absolutely no skills. So people who were stay-at-home moms or dads looking to re-enter the workforce, people who are system administrators looking to do development. And we have people who are always interested in the management of something, but didn't know how the back end worked, and then wanted to get involved in the development of products themselves. So whoever you are, you're welcome here. Next slide. There are quite a lot of career paths. As I said, many people enter in different ways. So as the internet expands, so does the need for people who can develop on it, and ways of interacting with more than just humans. So databases and e-commerce applications, anything like that. This is sort of where you would play. And people come by these skill sets on their own. So you can learn this on your own, except it's extremely difficult to get it all to hang together well. Fortunately, we have Michal Mew, who will talk in a few minutes, as our chief instructor, who's well versed in all of this material and is quite adept at it. So next slide. Yeah, so you might notice that it's pretty well a good paying job if you can get it. So we provide you the ability to participate in this form of a remuneration. So it will, I saw it from the survey that many of you are looking to improve your stake at work, and this was certainly the way to do that. Next slide. Yeah, I'm always hesitant about this slide. I think everybody should take the course, the program, because there's all manner of things you'd like to do for yourself that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do unless you're aware of the concepts of full stack development. For example, I'm struggling with it myself now. So I'm a rather older individual, and I'm just discovering that I'm having a hard time understanding some of the concepts in here, and perhaps I should sign up for the certificate as well. There are a lot of sort of got yous in the way that you could develop for the web, and it'd be best, and I think take my advice, because I should have taken my advice. It's best to be led through it so that you can do it yourself. Next slide. So you will be able to develop end-to-end applications, meaning right from the front end, what the user sees or what the person who is visiting an enterprise sees, right to the back end, where the not the hardware, but certainly the software components like the database and the e-commerce engines reside. You will be given ways of binding that together. This is ways of coding. If you're not a natural coder or learn to code, don't worry about that. That is embedded within our certificate. So we will lead you through how to write the code that you need to get this stuff working. But embedded within it as well are a whole bunch of artificial intelligence concepts and useful tools that we will also introduce to you. So this has been updated to include AI as an assistive device for you who will be working in this area. So you don't stand on your own, but you do need to know what you're doing. Next slide. We don't just sell you the certificate. We're interested in your success. And the reason is self-serving. If you're happy with what you get and you get a job or your job improves or your earning potential improves, or even if you just learned it on your own and don't have an intention at all, we want you to be competent, but we also want you to be satisfied with the product that we're giving you. So if we are, to be honest, that's our own benefit. Now, we will go to some length to make sure that you are successful. For example, we have something called career wraparound support, which is if you are looking for another job or an improvement in your job and you need letters of reference, we will provide those. We will actually go to interviews that are conducted and help you explain things. So we don't go in the interview with you, but they often ask for reference checks, and we, the instructors and myself, we end up being your references. You also get full access to all the computing capabilities at the TMU, and it is possible. This certificate is eligible for financial support as well. And as I said, you can do this at the speed as quickly or as slowly as you want. And I think that's what a lot of people are looking for. And also the key factor is it's online. So when it's all online, you don't have to come to TMU so you could be anywhere doing this. Thanks. Next slide. Yeah, so we're telling you this is how you go through the process of enrolling. You're a click away from getting into the certificate, but I'm sure you have some questions for us as well. Next slide.
That's it.
I think that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that overview, Alex. Now it's my pleasure to introduce one of our developers of the certificate, Michal Miu, to say a few words. Welcome, Michal.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Michal Miu. I've developed this course. We started in 2022, and we've been upgrading this course not every year, but every 6 months. We try to keep up to date with the latest technologies, and in this course, you're going to learn not just one technology, but multiple technologies, maybe somewhere around 15 technologies. And by the time you finish, you're going to ask yourselves which technologies you like, and the technologies that you like, those are the technologies that you're going to work with. The issue here is I don't know what you're going to like. So I've given you lots of redundancy, so you shouldn't have any issues. Can you enable screen sharing, please? Send request.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Okay. Just a second. No, I don't. Okay. All right. So now I'm trying to get ready for the upcoming session. So as you can see right here is an editor. This is Visual Studio Code, and one of the updates that we've been doing over the last year is AI assisted coding. I want you to learn the material. However, once you know the material, you have to be productive. So this is why you're going to use AI-assisted coding, not because you don't know the material, but because you want to be productive, but more specifically, you want to be hyper productive. We're going to be working in a virtualized environment. So we're going to use VirtualBox, and you're going to have to install this on your Windows machine. So make sure that you have a good machine with about 16 gig of RAM. Now, when you look at the VirtualBox, you're going to have multiple tools. So one of them is your database. So we're going to be using two databases, MongoDB, which is a document database, and PostgreSQL, which is a relational database. We're going to be using Python. So as you can see from the terminal, we use Python. And we're going to be using lots of third-party API. Most specifically, we're going to use Flask, and we're going to create applications. So for example, I'm just going to reload. Here it is. You can see that I created this order form, which is a very interesting order form. You can order anime products. Now you're going to look at this order form, and you're going to say, it's not appealing. It doesn't look visually appealing, but this order form is very good. Now, when you look at this page, all right, it's the same content, except it's styled slightly different, and it looks a bit more visually appealing. And what I've done here is I've taken the same code that you've seen on the previous screen, and I've added it to a template. So as you can see, it's rendered much more visually appealing. All right. So you're going to create code, but you're also going to have to integrate code in other code bases. So they may be it may be your own code base, or if you're going to say, well, look, I know certain things, I'm good at certain things, but not other aspects. You can get code from other people, and you're going to have to integrate your code with the code that comes from other sources. So this is what you're looking at Anime World. This is actually your project. So you're going to be creating this project. So by the time you finish, this is the project that you create. So you can place an order, right? And then you can place the order. It'll calculate the total price, and all of this is going to be stored in the database. So where's my database? Right here. Right here. So as you can see, the information is persistent. So when I say persistent, I mean it's stored in terms of long term. Now, what I want you to understand is that this course is very difficult in the first 6 weeks, and the reason is I want you to learn the material in the first 6 weeks. You learn the material, but you're going to need time to absorb it. So that's why you have another 6 weeks. So in total of 12 weeks, and the last week, you have to present the project, all right? So that's week 13. So first 6 weeks is difficult. Yes, you're going to have a bit of a difficult time. However, you've seen the material. You're going to say, I need 3 weeks to get used to the material. You get used to the material, you work on the project, and then you have something to deliver, right? And everyone presents their project at the end of the term. And that session is recorded. And what I've noticed is that each project is unique. So they will take my project, but everybody puts some level of customization that is interested for them. All right. So for example, I had one student. He got a job with creating components in React, and guess what? He focused heavily on React, and he said, "Look, this is good. This is my livelihood. All right, I need to take this to work and have it as a best principle project. All right, so it's going to be used to train everybody at work. So that's how you have to understand. This is going to prepare you for the real world. It's going to teach you lots of skills, and you're going to work within the VirtualBox, so you don't have to worry about creating any damage to your laptop. Worst case scenario, something happens to the VirtualBox, you just recreate the VirtualBox, right? Once the course is over, the VirtualBox stays with you, right? So you keep the VirtualBox on your laptop, all right? And for September, we're getting a new VirtualBox that I just created this summer, all right? So we have 2026 versions of new released products, all right? So that's it for me. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for showing that, giving us the viewers here uh, and sneak peek into what it would look like, behind the curtain. So thanks for doing that, Michal. And then I also just want to let people know that we do teach AI-assisted coding extensively in the CKCS 149 course for AI-assisted Python coding for fronting, backend, and middle, and AI applied web instance development, including web apps or apps or websites and beyond. And there are 3 weekly drop-in virtual Zoom tutor sessions with the veteran AI full stack developer who also teaches full stack backend data analytics, querying, and analysis of customer data. And we strongly recommend when you are attending any of these virtual Zoom tutor sessions to bring your questions for the weekly labs because it helps you prepping for the final exam during each week between the virtual online class sessions with the AI tech expert, practitioner, and instructor. So just a couple of notes about the certificate. So that ends the presentation portion of the session. We'll now open it up for everyone for a Q&A. Please enter your questions and we will answer them. I'm guessing let's get started. Yeah, we've got a couple of questions that are in already. First one is, what type of entry-level roles do graduates realistically qualify for after completing the certificate?
Um, Sorry. I'm looking. Just a second. Let me. What type of?
Entry-level roles do graduate realistically
Ah,
qualify for after completing the certificate? Yeah, so one of you can maybe Michal, you can start, and then Alex can chime in.
so you have to be careful how you define entry level, right? Because different companies define entry level differently. I've helped some of the students obtain jobs, all right, and every time somebody asks me about entry level, what this means is you're a reliable person, you have a university degree, right? Bring your passport for your first interview, and the reason is that's the easiest way of doing a background check. But all that means is you don't have a criminal record, all right? So as soon as you tell them I have my passport and you just flash it to them, they understand the message. So you have to work within that company. So that means you have to get along with the person in the company. Each company has their own unique stack, and there's a bit of a learning curve, and you're gonna have to learn that stack. So you learn the stack on the in your first months or for first 3 months. Other companies, they want to see skills. All right. Unfortunately, you're going to get skills once you have a job. All right. Once you have a job. So if you've worked in the industry and you've updated your skills, well, you're no longer applying for entry level positions. All right. You're no longer applying for entry level positions. Unfortunately, everyone, all the job postings that I've seen these days, they want lots of skills. I'm like, okay, you want the experience, but it's entry level position. All right. So no. All right. So entry level means you're right out of school, all right? You're a reliable person, all right? You're a good you're going to help out the company, but you may not have worked in the industry, all right? So that's the
Yeah, so I kind of play a support role when people are looking for jobs. So we have supported people who've taken the certificate or about to complete the certificate or have completed one of the iterations of the certificate. And there's all manner of things they either get hired for or a lot of the times wherever they were working when the company finds out that they actually have an improved skill set, they get thrown into things like support. So sales support is one of the ones that typically you start out at. So this is if you're already in a company, right? So you're in an enterprise selling something. I wrote a letter of reference for someone who worked in the manufacturing. They make shovels. I mean, big shovels for Caterpillar tractors and things like that. And it's a very competitive business, I've learned. And so they were looking to do e-commerce, although I don't know how you would sell a shovel. Anyways, that's what the job he was applying for internally. And he eventually got the job, but he didn't. So it truly was entry level because before that he was a welder. So we had a welder that went from welding parts of shovels, repair, to developing an e-commerce app. Not developing it, but they already had the app, but they needed someone else to actually maintain it. So that's typically someone internal they would look to support sales, for example. We had a mother. She'd never worked in the industry at all. I wrote a letter of reference for, and she started also in a form of sales support, but more supporting the web team who had to answer questions about development. And she was doing that on contract. So where you end up, or where is very different from where you enter the workforce, as Michal was saying. But realistically, it's hard to tell. Depends on the needs of the place. I will reiterate this thing that Michal said. There appears to be a credentialism coming into hiring. They want all manner of skills, but what they really want is a portfolio, right? So if you can get to the point where you can show them what you can do, that is often the deal maker. So we've had people who were very concerned about the long list of requirements that a company had. But when they managed to show them the portfolio, largely created through the certificate, they got the job. So, I mean, there's no magic in this. It's the standard way that it was always happening, except now, I guess people are they're risk averse to hiring straight out, so they throw a bunch of requirements at you. But you still have to pound the ground to actually get in there and demonstrate that you can do the job. Also, there's this weird thing that's here now about testing. So they wish to test your knowledge about the full stack development that we teach you. We'll stand behind that. We'll help you actually prepare for that test as well. So I don't know if that answers the question completely, because it's hard to tell what an entry level job is for this certificate.
So another issue, the project that I've showed you, you can use the project as a portfolio because it demonstrates skills that they actually ask for job requirements.
And I also have a note here, which is saying that they obtain entry at mid-career AI full stack developer roles, building end-to-end full stack built websites in healthcare, retirement, online community, social activities, and commercial client-facing websites at companies like Canadian Tire, Lululemon, etc. So just to add a little bit more context to that. Okay, next question is, do you think AI will reduce the number of entry-level developer jobs, or, in our case, any developer jobs, or will it change what developers are expected to do?
I could start. I've already started to see it. So it will change the job. So as Michal referred to or alluded to, you can become a hyper developer in a sense with these tools. So a lot of coding was always fiddly bits, right? That don't quite fit together. You get something wrong, it could take you days to actually resolve a tiny issue, and then you're kicking yourself because you got something slightly wrong. Now you can have with an AI coding assistant that worry kind of disappears. So you still need to know what you're doing, right? But you don't need to know the extreme detail that's required for what the task at hand. This is a huge help. Now, it's a huge help, but it's also it opens up a lot of opportunities, right? So many people won't, or many enterprises won't try something because they think it's impossible, huge development cycle. But now that ability to develop something rather quickly and cheaply is there. And but mind you, they still need you. right? Like they need you to actually figure out what the architecture will be, what it will look like, and to rationalize the different things that AI spits out. Because fortunately, there's competition in the AI world as well, and they don't always fit together very well. So the human in the loop is definitely still required, and that role is likely to expand, but it won't be the same. So it's unlikely to be simply coding. It's going to be upmarket, supported by whatever version of AI wins in this battle that they're doing now.
There is, let me just add one more issue. It's the issue of logistics. One of the problems with AI is it's expensive to run the infrastructure. And about a year ago, I was telling all the students, when you do an AI query, it's 10 times more expensive than a Google query. That was a year ago. Now, this year, we're finding that AI is very expensive. And a lot of companies that are using AI to replace entry-level jobs are finding that the AI is way more expensive than the entry-level jobs. So that's one issue. Second issue, the data centers, the AI data centers are many of them are not allowed to be connected to the power grid because of the massive draw. So they have to have an independent power supply, which means they thought it was going to have a certain expense. Now the expense is twice as much because they have to have an independent power supply. So AI is good, but you have to use it sparingly. All right, you have to use it sparingly. So can I share my screen one more time?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Let me just start my Visual Studio for Code. All right. So just to give you a hint. All right. Whenever we use AI, we have a limited number of tokens or a limited number of credits. And don't just pound on the AI with queries. You have to be able to formulate these queries very, very wisely. So you get an answer, and the answer is not necessarily directly useful, it can be indirectly useful. So be prepared to ask 3 to 5 questions before you actually get an answer that may be of use. That doesn't mean that it's going to generate the code for you. Okay, it's going to generate some code, and it's going to be up to you to fine tune the code and integrate it into your code base. A lot of people are trying to use AI into their existing code base, and the AI is having a very difficult time interpreting. What I've noticed with AI, it's great when you use a single language. For example, when you use only Python. But when it comes to full stack development, you have Python, you have Java, JavaScript, you have cascading style sheets, you have HTML, and they're all integrated into each other. And this really confuses AI. So you kind of have to simplify everything. All right. So for example, first create this form. Right. First you create a simple form. The form is usable by itself, and then you take the form that was created and you integrate it into a template. All right. So notice you cannot do all of this in a single step. You have to do it in multiple steps. So that's what you have to understand. So it takes a bit of training to use AI wisely. What I'm finding out, the best users of AI are actually experienced developers, not entry-level developers. All the experienced developers.
You also have to keep in mind, I believe, that we're at very early stages of trying to monetize what AI can do. So all these companies, the chat GPTs and the various models, the Geminis, Copilot, it's a very incestuous relationship a lot of them have with each other. For example, Microsoft Copilot is based on a chat GPT model. So when chat GPT, OpenAI makes money, Microsoft pays them for one thing, and then they end up paying Microsoft back for another thing. So it's yet to be seen where the survivors are in this. So how many of these large companies building huge data centers, making the lights go dim and the water disappear, how many of them will survive, and what models will come out of that? But what is, I guess the takeaway here is we've integrated what's available now into our certificate so that you can get a feel for it and you can honestly say you've used it and do some development in it. And to a certain extent, everybody using AI is entry level. because we don't actually know what the final models will be, and they're evolving almost on a daily basis. So getting some experience with what we're giving you is better than no experience. And whether you're treated as an entry-level person or someone who's quite experienced because you've used AI, that's yet to be seen.
And just to add to that, I know we've got another question as well, how much database design and SQL is covered. I know that at a functional level, the course is going to teach you Python, JavaScript, and use SQL and in the first 6 weeks of the course, and then add in AI-assisted coding tools and skills so you can use the AI-assisted coding tools like Claude Code or GitHub, Copilot, etc.
So
of your
let me just
choice to
interrupt you.
debug and do testing.
Let me just interrupt you. Week 2, we do AI assisted
Yeah.
coding. Okay, so I want you to get used to it. So this way you can formulate prompts. So you're gonna ask the AI and you're gonna get something useful. All right. It's gonna take a bit of time to actually create good prompts. When you look at databases, there are 2 types of databases, and you have to understand your not necessarily level of experience, but level of exposure to database. First, we use document databases. So if you don't have any experience whatsoever, MongoDB, which is a document database, may be very, very useful for you. You'll be very, very productive with that. So you interact with MongoDB using JSON. After we're finished with MongoDB, we look at a relational database, and the relational database that we use is PostgreSQL. PostgreSQL, it's a very good database. It's very similar to Oracle database, but it requires a higher learning curve, all right? A higher learning curve. So some students who have no experience may say, look, that Postgres may be a bit too much, in which case their project is going to be done with Mongo, right? But other people will say, look, at work they use PostgreSQL, so I need this. Hence, my project is going to be in PostgreSQL. So we're going to be creating a database. You're going to create a table, and you're going to have to query the table. So what this means is you retrieve information, but at the same time, you have to insert information into the table. So you write SQL queries and SQL insert statements. And you're also going to have to look at integrity. So you're going to have to deal with uniqueness and primary keys. All right. So that's another issue.
Okay, next question is there a capstone? So I know we've discussed that a little bit, if you can expand that a little bit as well. And what does the typical capstone project look like?
Yes, it was a 150 course. And the way that works is you take most of the courses previous to that, and we assign you it's not exactly an instructor, more like a mentor. And then you go through the process of developing something. And that something is useful because it adds to your portfolio. So each course that you take adds to your portfolio, but the final project also does that.
Amazing. Michal, anything to add to that?
So yeah, be careful how you declare how you define capstone. The project that I've showed you, which we develop in a full stack course, that's also can't fit the criteria.
Yeah, the intent is to keep everything that you usefully create in all the courses. So that I mean, it's only it's a 4-course certificate. So the actually useful artifacts that you're making are spread throughout the courses. So there, I guess that's my addition.
So let me just share my screen one more time. Let me just share my screen one more time. All right. So I got logged out. All right. So one of the issues with this project, the question becomes how many applications do you see? Well, the users see just one application, the web browser, but there is the middleware, which runs in the terminal, And then there's the database, which runs in the background. So there are 3 applications in total. So this is why we call this a 3-tier architecture. And this is what provides scalability. So when I say scalability, you can have 50 users, you can have 1,000 users, you can have 10,000 users, you can have 100,000 users. All right. So it's not just a simple application. It's a very, very, very complex application that provides scaling. Now, because the application is modular, what you have to understand, the user interface, yes, it can be a web page, but at the same time, it can also be an app on your cell phone. Okay, so you have to understand how you're going to modularize the application and who your user base will be, right? Who your user base will be.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for sharing that, Michal. And I believe you do a final web instance deliverable or website or a web-enabled app project, and each student produces it in every course for 4 separate e-career portfolio projects, right? So it all adds to your portfolio that you can use.
Just going back to sort of the workforce question, I told you about the shovel company. So the person that I wrote the reference for was going after a job internally for developing on a phone, right? So that basically it was going to be an app that would be for purchasing the various pieces of hardware that come from a backhoe, for example, and you would do that by your phone. That was the assumption that the welder made, and I didn't get that job because nobody purchases backhoe parts from a phone, apparently. So he is now a full stack developer in the same company. The fact that he could do it on a phone apparently was enough to get him the job. So results may vary for you.
Awesome. And I think we've got just one last question that we can take because we are at time. And it is about someone with no Python or programming background. Can they take all of the courses? Can they take 2 courses simultaneously, 145 and 149? Or is it recommended to finish one course first and then do the other one?
So you don't need Python, you don't need programming background to take these courses, right? If you don't have a programming background, you can take the courses, period. Yes, you're going to have a bit more of a learning curve, right? Especially in the full stack course. Now, you got to ask yourself what kind of schedule you have. So I had students that had a job during the day. They could only manage one course. There were students that actually took both courses at the same time. Right, and they've done very well.
Yeah, and actually that's kind of a philosophy in this entire area. So science and engineering at the Chang School. We've gone to try and remove the notion of the prerequisite, except in some small cases. So for a capstone course, as asked about before, you have to seek permission to do that. So we kind of enforce that you have to have had some experience within a certificate to actually enroll in that one. But as Michal said, yeah, you can do it. But we don't know you personally, right? So you have to kind of decide what kind of a learner you are. So what I would suggest, although it's maybe Chang School won't like that, but I suggest try one to see how it goes. And then if it goes very well, then fill your boots with more, right? That would be a reasonable piece of advice, I think.
I love that. Thank you both for sharing. And I believe for people that have no background, the drop-in sessions are going to be very beneficial because it is with an expert practitioner tutor. So please take advantage of that when you're in the course.
Yeah, so attend the lecture, and then after the lecture on the weekend, like on Friday or Saturday, attend the tutorial.
Amazing.
All right. So if you have any issues with the lecture, for example, you can say Michal demoed this, but yeah, tutor's name is going to be Riyadh. You can ask Riyadh, can you write it by me one more time? All right. Another issue, the lectures are going to be recorded. So usually a day after I lecture, I make the recording available so you can watch the recording. right? So the recordings are very good, and everybody seems to like them.
That's really helpful. That's really helpful to know. Thank you, Michal.
Right?
Okay, so I know we are at time and there are no more open questions. I just want to take this moment to run one last poll for everybody. While I do my closing remarks, I wanted to thank both Alex and Michal for going through the overview and answering all of the questions. In the background, we had Sandra also answering some questions from our client services team. Thank you for doing that. And Luke always keeping us going. If you're interested in this certificate, please visit our website at continuing.torontomu.ca. And if you have any other questions, you can contact me directly at mash.chaudhry@torontomu.ca. All of the information that we shared and a recording of the session will be sent to you within 24 to 48 hours. And on behalf of the Chang School and all of our presenters and members today, thank you for joining us and have a great rest of the day. Bye, everyone.